And obviously the police came in and checked our passports as usual at the European border. Paid like 42 Swiss francs for some salad, some water and some ice cream. It's probably about a 9 or 10 hour train ride and I slept for about 2 of them. Alright you guys, welcome to my new YouTube video. Today I'm taking you on a journey to see my adventure of traveling through 7 of the most expensive European countries all by myself. How did I do? Let's find out. It was an insane story, I can tell you right now. I went on this journey in August of 2022, so about 6-7 months now, and it was definitely life-changing. I'm based in Graz, Austria, so obviously my journey is gonna begin there. I went and bought a 15-day Interrail ticket online and I just packed my bags. I took one big backpack with me and just one little tiny bag for traveling through the cities. I put all the clothes in there I could think of and then I just headed to the train station and took off. My plan was to check off as many great countries from my list as I possibly could in those 15 days. So in Graz, Austria, my journey really began. I took the night train to Zurich, Switzerland, which was the first country or city of my trip. And the night train itself was quite the experience, as though it was my first night train ride ever. I had some seat reservations, so I had a guaranteed seat, which was a good thing, but I got one of these 6 seat compartments and 5 of them were already taken, so we did not really have a lot of space for this 13-hour train ride. So that was definitely a heck of a travel, but it didn't only start there. It really started when I traveled across the border to Switzerland, which I forgot was the border of the European Union, because Switzerland is obviously not a part of them. And I completely forgot planning that. I don't know how, but that's what happened. So as I traveled across the border to Switzerland, obviously my cell service went down. And I can let you guess who the smart guy was that did not take any screenshot of his online traveling pass. I think the train station was called Bochs or something, and obviously the police came in and checked our passports as usual at the European border. Then afterwards the young lady from the train team came and checked our tickets, and I obviously could not show her my ticket, which was such an incredibly smart start in this journey. As I traveled through Switzerland and also through Austria, obviously the landscapes, the countries are incredibly beautiful, and as I traveled through the landscapes by train, this was just some magnificent experience, I can tell you that. Beautiful lakes, beautiful mountains all over my train ride. The countryside was just amazing. The weather, let's not even mention the weather because it was just out of this world on pretty much every day on my journey. I have to say, I know a lot of people who don't enjoy traveling by train, but I love it, and I've really been falling in love with traveling by train more and more since that trip. So then at probably around 9 or 10 a.m. in the morning, I arrived at Zurich main station, took my little bag and then just went straight to the B&B to drop my backpack off and enjoy the city at this time of the day. My B&B was located in the 6th district of Zurich, and a few of you out there might already know, but the 6th district in Zurich is the university district. So a lot of universities, a lot of young people all over the place, a lot of cafes, great cozy area, and that's exactly where my B&B was located. So I had a very nice apartment, I can tell you that. It was just awesome actually. I really fell in love with that place. So after checking out my awesome room and chatting to the landlady, which by the way was such a nice, lovely person, thank you again for letting me stay at your place. I just took some food with me and the camera obviously, got my perfume ready, and then I was settled, ready to go. And that's exactly what I did for the rest of the day. So my first day in Zurich was all about exploring and, you know, just having fun in that city, checking out some locations and stuff like that. That's really what it was all about, especially for me wanting to living in Zurich in the future. I really absorbed all the energy, and yeah, it was just an awesome experience. So after Riga Blick and enjoying Zurich altogether, I took the train to Bern, which is the capital of Switzerland actually. What looked like a boring, rather industrial city to me turned out to be one of the most beautiful cities I've ever been to in my entire life. as I traveled through the city, as I moved from this spot to this spot, I have to say the city is not that big. So you can probably go from one end to the other end in probably about 30 minutes. So that's not such a big city. But as I wandered through the city, I've come across some great locations, which I haven't seen like that in my life before. The city is kind of a huge old castle with great walls. So everything inside of the city center is really elevated to about 50 meters or 150 feet off the ground, and surrounding all that area is a huge river which goes in a circle, and I've never seen that before. So people jump in on one side and on one spot into the river and just swim around the city and get back out of the water exactly where they jumped in. I've never seen that before, so I obviously had to check out that river myself. The day after I went to the next city, so I took a train to Basel, Switzerland, which was the last city in Switzerland of my journey. I actually took one of these double-decker trains, one of these two-story trains, which I've never been in before. In Austria, I don't even think we have those. Just another great experience, I have to say. As I arrived in Basel, I went straight into the old town, had some drinks and ice cream at a cafe, which was really expensive, by the way. I would not recommend doing that in Switzerland whatsoever. Paid like 42 Swiss francs for some salad, some water and some ice cream. So I would not recommend doing that in Switzerland. But there's actually one more expensive country on my journey than Switzerland was. So in Basel I really took time for myself. Obviously also went to some more museums actually. But if some of you have already been to Basel, you might already know that the River Rhine is flowing through the entire city. So I took time for myself, went down to the river the next day and enjoyed the time there. I really loved it. The weather was amazing, temperature, sun, anything really. I just relaxed, laid down at the River Rhine and enjoyed my time there. In the evening, I took another night train to Cologne, Germany, actually, which was not the best experience on my trip, I have to tell you. The night train was fine, I don't have any problems traveling at night, but it was just packed. It was just crowded with people. And my mistake, actually, I had a second class ticket and I went into first class by mistake. I didn't even check. So I was completely calm. There was no people around. I had a seat for myself. But then, as the train staff came by and checked our tickets, I got sent into second class and it was packed. It's probably about a 9 or 10 hour train ride and I slept for about 2 of them before arriving in Cologne at about 6 a.m. in the morning, just to get on another train to Brussels, Belgium, which was my next stop of the journey. But before I could do that, I had to stop in between in Cologne, wait for 2 hours before going onto the next train. It was 6 a.m. in the morning on a Sunday, so nobody, really nobody was around. I sat down, had some breakfast and enjoyed the sunrise near the river, which was just beautiful. After that, I wandered around in Cologne for a while, checked out the dome, and then finally took my train to Brussels, Belgium, where I planned to stay for one night only before going to Amsterdam, Netherlands next. And that plan did not change, I have to tell you, because I did not enjoy it in Brussels whatsoever. I was actually expecting a lot, as my uncle has lived in Belgium for a long time in his life. I just did not enjoy it. It didn't meet my expectations whatsoever. Brussels is one circle, one city center, which is packed, which is crowded of people, just all of the tourists inside this city center. And everything else outside of it was just dirty, full of poverty. When you leave the train station, the plaza or area where it's located was just full of waste and the dirt. It wasn't for me, I can tell you that. I did not expect that or enjoy that. So I took the next train to Amsterdam the day after. That was just the other side of the coin, because Amsterdam itself was insane. I fell in love with the architecture. The train station where I arrived, Amsterdam Central Station, was a train station so beautiful I've never seen before in my entire life, I have to tell you. You know, this brown brick layered design all over the city and the train station as well. It was just beautiful. I fell in love strolling through the city, through the little streets and canals, because Amsterdam is obviously full of water, like Venice, for example. And I just, I enjoyed it, wandering walking through these little streets and bridges over them canals, watching people in boats all over the place. Great architecture, great streets, great canals, a great time altogether. And it can be so damn romantic if you go there in the evening. Beautiful brick architecture, great food markets, or rather fruit markets really. I had some great fruit in that country, and yeah, I really enjoyed it there. Met some great people actually at my hostel where I was staying. I was staying at the Generator Hostel Amsterdam. Great experience, and it can actually be a quite romantic city, I can tell you that, if you go through these little streets and canals in the evening, in the night time with your partner. It was an awesome experience, I have to say. I took my next train, or rather trains, to get to my next city, which was... It was just an amazing experience, amazing feeling that the flat where she used to stay in, she moved out of, moved to her boyfriend, try this food, try this national food, because it's just amazing.